Now you listen to me. You have a baby. Our baby. And Carl. And Claire. I love you. Can you do that? Can you do this?
Hey Zedheads, welcome to our podcast. I'm Jason.
And I'm Karen.
And I'm David.
This is the Walking Dead cast, episode 81. You heard a third voice in there. That's David. Special guest, also known as Mr. Karen. Hi, David.
Well, hello.
Welcome back. I was thinking about where we are in the season right now. If this was season 1, this would be the last episode for the season.
This would have been...
Number 6.
Yeah, you're right.
But we got 10 more, right? 10 more to go.
Plus, I think so much more has happened.
I know.
Good Lord.
I mean, season 1 was not as slow as season 2, but season 3 is faster than both of them put together.
Pretty good.
Yeah. How are you finding it, David? I mean, comparatively.
I absolutely love it.
You do?
I'm really loving this season. Each of the 3 seasons, I think, has had a very distinct character, which is not necessarily usual for all shows. But it certainly has taken place in this one. Like, I think you could see an episode and know right away which season it was. They each had a different flavor. And I think this one has been the best.
Yeah, me too. I mean, not only do they have different flavors, but I feel like especially season 2 was more uneven than the other 2. And this has been so far pretty good every show, right? Every episode.
Really strong.
It has been really strong, yeah.
Yep.
I got the feeling in season 2 they were finding their way as they went a little bit. And I think the season looks like it has had a plan from the beginning.
I think they really did respond to... I mean, the people's complaints about season 2, and I'm sure they realized it going along too. And you know what? I was thinking about it. It's the zombie apocalypse. It must be tough to write a good show for that because you hang your plots on structures of society, your evil boss or some spy organization or, romance and meeting and all that stuff is gone. So you have to find drama within this small group of people, which is another reason why season 3, I think, is better because we've brought in Woodbury and there's more factions, to build story with.
And there was some romance.
Yeah, totally.
Bow, chicka, wow, wow.
Okay, so before we get into our Deadcast Top 5, I wanted to announce a contest winner. We've had our contest, the Zombie Get Up contest, and we had people send in pictures of themselves in zombie, costumes, holding up a sign that said "Hi, Jason and Karen" or something like that. Excuse me. So we just picked a winner. And it was tough. They're all cute and creative, and
they were great. And a lot of people did vignettes, sort of, little takeoffs on the series. This is when Laurie's baby crawls out of her, her zombie baby crawls out of her room. It was great.
Yeah. And a lot of them had kids.
Yeah,
which was cute.
Points. They know where we live too, because that's always points for us.
So the one that we picked had, I thought, just kind of the best solid looking zombie makeup. And also she was chewing out, I think, her father's intestines, which was a bonus.
Yeah, very Greg Nicotero-esque.
Yeah.
And I think we know by now as a group that Walking Dead fans are sort of the Kiss of television fans. They love getting made up.
Oh yeah, totally. So the person who won is I couldn't find her name for sure in the email. That her father is Dan Vandermalen, and I think the girl is Amanda, but I'm not sure. But either way, I'll email you. You won probably one of the best prizes we've given away. It was those 2 hardbacks of The Walking Dead, the first 24 issues that Brittany donated to us. Plus this, and she had a sign that said, something like, "Here's my costume, now give me my shirt," or something like that. She wanted the Michonne t-shirt.
Yeah,
so you won
exactly.
that too.
And the Michonne t-shirt.
Yay.
Donated by Jason.
And Karen, mostly it was you, because you gave it to me.
Well,
and
I gave it to you and you donated it. So
Yeah.
it's a group effort.
Okay, one more thing. We've had our little bets going on, and somebody wrote in about our tea bet. 3 people wrote in about the tea bet.
Interesting.
And they wrote, and I still don't, okay, I could be gloating and saying I won the tea bet based on this, but I still don't think I won. I just want to preface this with that. But I'm going to play a little clip from The Talking Dead that has to do with this.
Okay.
Where is it? Here it is.
Let's take a question here. This is from @AU Punisher. What is the
This is Chris Hardwick talking to, I think, one of the producers of The Walking Dead, by the way.
deal with the tea? Is it figurative for drinking the Kool-Aid, or does it hold any kind of significance?
Well, it's a bit of a little inside joke. One of the writers on the show has he always wears a jacket and tie. He's always sort of drinking tea, and I think it's a little bit of a nod to one of the writers in the room. I'm not going to name his name, but there's a little guy in the room that does that.
Someone just dropped their tea.
So people were saying, "Oh, I think he won the bet because they just did it as a nod," but he didn't say it was only that. And he started to say something else too, but then Chris Hardwick cut him off and changed the subject.
Okay, so we can keep that one going.
Yeah, we can keep it going, but I feel a little better about my position now.
Yes, you probably should feel better.
We'll see.
I also have to say that it's arguable now. We had this other bet about Andrea, whether Andrea was in fact falling for the governor, flirting with the governor, or
You think she's gone deep undercover now?
under
I think
bed,
that what you're saying?
under
I
bed
think
cover.
I think they were on top of the covers.
You're saying I didn't win that? That's not debatable at all.
She's still testing the governor.
Yes. I saw her slyly looking around the room
testing.
as
And the weight
And
capacity of his
testing.
bed.
testing. No, that's
Testing
not what I
his
was gonna
mattress.
say.
I think I owe you beer is what I guess I'm saying
On
ultimately.
that one, yes. Okay, let's.
I'm probably going to owe you beer on some other things.
We'll see. We'll see. All right, let's move it along.
Attention shoppers, Deadcast Top 5 in 5, 4, 3, 2.
All right, it's Deadcast Top 5. This week it's our top 5 highlights for Season 3, Episode 6, Hounded. So what'd you guys think in general?
In general, I'm giving it 4.75.
That's your highest rating of the, maybe.
Yeah,
season?
I think I gave the
Liked it best,
second
huh?
one 4.75. Yeah, it was great. It was great on all fronts.
Wow. What about you?
Well, I only gave it 4.5 brains because I didn't realize that the 0.75 was an option, that there were quarters involved. But I thought it was a great episode. I loved it.
You can change your score.
And you can always
If you
split
want.
brains into smaller and smaller
I'm
parts.
giving it 4.76 brains.
Oh, wow. I feel like we're on the Price is Right. I give it a solid 4.5. That's high praise.
It is.
Yeah, it was
It is.
great. But I wasn't. As it went along the first 20 minutes or so, I was thinking that it wasn't going to be the best. I was still liking it, but the whole thing with Merle and Michonne was good, but it just didn't. It wasn't grabbing me as much as some of the other episodes. But then as it went along, I thought it just got better and better. And the fact that the two storylines merged finally. With Merle meeting Glenn, that just had me like, oh yeah, this is great. And
Yep.
Even the stuff with Andrea and the governor hooking up, I liked, and so yeah, 4.5. and Daryl and Carol and all that. This episode had a lot going on.
Yeah,
it had
did.
The whole Merle with his men, the Rick and the phone, of course, the kidnapping of Maggie and Glenn, Andrea and the governor, Daryl finding Carol. That's a lot of stuff to happen.
A lot of stuff.
In Dead.
Fact, about halfway through, I had taken about a page and a half, 2 pages in notes, which is a lot. And I looked at the clock and I'm like, really? It's only 30 minutes in, and it was incredible to me.
But it didn't feel like, oh man, they're cramming a lot in. I mean, it didn't feel like it was too much or something to me.
It was
good, yeah. Okay.
I think guests go first.
Yeah. That's you.
Well, all right. My number 5 from this episode was the bitergram. And some people are great at those. I was never very good at them. And I felt like I should be able to remember this, but I actually had to look it up. What was the game show? It was Concentration, where they had the little puzzlegrams.
Yeah.
And that was the whole game show. And that kid would have been great at it. He got it right away. Like everybody else was like, what are these bodies doing? And he got it immediately. And I looked up a little bit.
That would be if he would have said,
Yeah.
I used to do puzzlegrams a lot.
Yeah. Tiny piece of trivia about Concentration. It was created by Jack Barry and Dan Enright, who, if I'm not mistaken, were the guys that created 24 from Quiz Show.
Oh,
like the
yeah. Right, the rigged game show.
Yeah, but it was the longest running game show ever on NBC.
Yeah.
Concentration. So anyway,
Was
I
that
like
the one
bitergram.
that they did the movie quiz show
Yes.
24 was the
Yeah.
other show by those guys.
on? That was a great movie.
It really was. One other thing about the the bitergram, because the bitergram was actually, I'm going to go ahead and say, the bitergram was my number 5.
Woohoo!
I think it was great, and I thought about, and it was just today I had just a couple minutes of time to kill, and I was thinking about other bitergrams that she could have left, including "Don't go ahead," leaving ahead, or "Danger afoot," leaving a foot, or "I will kill you," or "Stop being an ass." I mean, there's so many bitergrams she could have left. So, or "Middle finger you." Anyway, I just loved it, and I love the whole
Or
thing.
she could have gotten really nasty with it. Fuck off. I don't know. It looks like they're
I liked Michonne in this whole I like that sort of she dropped down and beheads headband guy.
Yeah.
I thought, oh my God, did she really need to kill him? But I guess she did, because they were going to kill her, and
They were
she
hunting
didn't
her.
know that for sure. But I guess you could pretty much surmise that.
They were there with
That
weapons.
was
They were
pretty
hunting her.
freaking harsh. Chop off a dude's head.
Well, they say they find it and then they mock her and they say, come out wherever you are," basically, and she's like, "All right."
You asked for it.
Yeah, and as we said, we were saying in the car that bitergram figuring out pretty much a no-brainer.
I just don't want the show to get to where it's callous about killing people, because then it's more like a lot of shows where the cars, like, Die Hard movies where cars jump over, just impossible stuff happens. I like it when it's more grounded, but I guess this was still, and she's a little far out, but, I guess we accept that because she's her own special thing.
Right.
Okay, my number 5 was Daryl finding Carol. I liked that a lot. I liked that I guess they didn't really overtly say it, but I guess he was tracking her. He found her
Her
knife, and then I think you could see that he was feeling really flustered outside that door that was opening and closing,
Right.
and I guess he thought that he was going to find zombie Carol in there, right?
Right.
And I didn't know. I mean, they had just shown the scene where Rick carries his little baby, and it was playing this music that was touching but kind of sad. And then they shifted over to Daryl doing that, and the music stayed. And I thought, oh, this could be one of those Walking Dead things where something sweet is happening and something really tragic is happening too, But then he opens the door and she's there, okay, and I thought, oh, good, 2 sweet things, that was good. I'm glad they did that.
And they didn't overdo it.
No.
It was a really nice moment. There are no words at all. She just turns her head and looks at him like, "Oh, I'm so glad you're
And he
here."
picks her up,
Yep.
yeah. And I
Yeah.
thought, man, she must be thirsty. That was what I thought.
That was your first thought.
I was trying to figure out how long had gone by before that.
Yeah,
It wasn't totally clear.
It must, yeah. I mean, it couldn't have been more than a couple days or something like that. And I thought, I wonder if the writers, I'm sure the writers probably had Sophia's storyline in mind when they decided to have Carol go missing. So we would kind of think, oh, she's going to suffer the same fate as her daughter, but then she didn't. And now, we wonder if they're going to go off. Some of the people online thought that this means they're finally going to get romantic, but I don't think so still. I don't know.
Already, we know that they've done the deed.
No, we don't.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
She said you want to fool around?
So whenever someone says you want to fool around to you, that means you've already had sex with them? Well, I don't get your thinking on that. She was kidding, kind of. Well, maybe halfway flirting, but it doesn't mean that they've already done it for sure.
I was thinking they had. I don't know. All right, listeners, what do you think? Do you think they had done it, or you think they haven't? I think they have.
Let's make a little bet on that. I don't know if we'll ever find out. But
yeah, I don't think we'll ever find out either.
yeah. Okay, let's move on.
My number 4 was that whole action sequence at the beginning for the following reasons. One is I thought it was the best kill of a live person so far in the show. I mean, there have been some spectacular and variety of zombie kills, but the human kills, that was a pretty great one. Also, she was using a human shield, which was kind of creative and cool, I thought.
And it worked.
Yeah, and then I was going to ask you both a question. Do we know was Merle right-handed?
I don't know.
Because he was running around now with the gun in his left hand, doing everything with his left hand, and I was wondering if he's now learned to do everything left-handed.
We actually know that the actor, Michael Rooker, is right-handed because they did a little thing about him on the AMC The Walking Dead. And he said, yeah, it's kind of a drag because it was my right hand that was cut off. So now I'm having to do a lot of things and hold the gun, and it's not very natural. Because
it looked awkward.
Yeah.
Okay.
It looked like
I'm guessing
somebody
that
who was right-handed.
he probably thinks of Merle as having been right-handed too.
Right.
Then,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I love that how which is one of my favorite kind of funny scenes ever in The Walking Dead. Merle saying, "You hear that bird?" Pow! That was great. And then he walks off and he kind of goes, Cartulio. Like he finally pronounces the name right.
I'll just call you Neil.
And that whole thing, that whole interaction, it's like, what did Merle do? What did we learn about Merle? I mean, he wanted this guy to buck up, he obviously he's like, he probably was like that with Daryl too. He's like, you can't, don't be a wuss kind of, but then, so that's sort of the value that he has. But then when it was time to really go after Michonne, he didn't want to go there. And he had no way of knowing that whether she was dead or not. Maybe he really did think she was dead. I don't know. But it turns out that was probably going to have been a bad decision. So he'd rather kill this guy than either go after Michonne or go back to the governor and say that he failed. So he's kind of a fuck up still.
I thought two things there. One is, yes, he showed off, I thought, to being a little bit of a coward there. Like not quite the tough guy that we all think he is. He's more of a bully, which is maybe somebody who's not as tough when challenged. But I thought also that killing that kid gave him an opportunity to do what he really wants to do, which is look for his brother. Because that's not what he's supposed to be doing.
Right. He's supposed to be looking for Michonne. And maybe that's why he was at the market. I mean, maybe he just happened to catch a glimpse of Carl and Glenn and Maggie and thought it was a good opportunity to see what's going on.
Yeah, but you're right. He probably is out and about looking for his brother while he's supposed to be on this other mission. Totally.
Yeah. Yeah, good. My number 4 was actually Daryl Finds Carol, so I'm going to skip to you.
Mine was this whole kind of first scene with Merle and the guys. So, number 3.
Number 3, Woodbury itself, which is, sorry for another old television reference and a much more obscure one, but it kind of reminds me of The Village from The Prisoner. with these sort of surreal inhabitants that are kind of disconnected from the way they should be behaving given the state of the world. Like Andrea's with this sort of airheaded woman who is supposed to be an archer but can't hit anything. She's all bubbly and then nice gazebo in the middle of town. Which is,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Little garden you hang out and drink whiskey in. And,
it's all very
or Stepfordy or something.
yes.
Yeah.
That's a good way of putting it. I like the vibe.
But I think I hope she's not listening, but I think the biggest problem with that girl is she just wasn't a good actress. You know?
Yeah.
I don't think she played that part very well. It seemed like she stepped out of some teeny bopper show or something like that.
It's funny, they were talking about like which family members they killed, you know, and neither of them, I mean, Andrea certainly didn't kill her sister. Her sister was bitten and she turned and then she re-killed her. I think there should be a new term, re-killing.
Re-kill.
Yeah, she didn't kill her. Anyway.
We knew what they meant. She's like, you killed, she goes, I killed my father for these bows. And Andrew's like, you didn't kill her for that and kill him for those. You had to. And she goes, no, I killed him for the bows. He was fine. These are great bows. Look at him.
I still can't shoot.
Yeah, the question is, how did you kill him? It wasn't by shooting arrows.
Yeah.
I had a gun.
My number 3 was this had some nice sweet moments, one of which we just talked about when Daryl finds Carol, but also some other moments kind of reminding us that we're human and there's other things to life other than just killing zombies. Rick and the baby, when he carries the baby out into the sunlight with Carl, that was a sort of a sweet moment. And it's nice because just as Daryl is carrying out Carol, he's carrying out the baby. Maggie and Glenn sharing a kiss at the market. It was just a real simple moment. By the way, they were making a market run, and Glenn had said, we're going out trying to find a place that sells bullets and formula. Or that has bullets and formula.
I know.
What place has bullets and formula?
That was what it was called, bullets and formula. The sign says.
You say
Infant
bullets and
and
formula.
ammo.
Right. And
Supplies.
she comments on it's a beautiful day.
Which was the worst thing to ever say.
Yeah, exactly. This is the best day ever.
Nothing could possibly go wrong on a day like this.
Nobody know what the kiss of death is yet.
Right. Not in this show. And even the sweet little scene where Daryl and Oscar and Carl are going through the prison.
Love that.
And Oscar, he's awesome. He's like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Slippers. Sometimes you would just want to relax.
Daryl's like, what would you need those for? And he goes, wouldn't you want to relax at the end of the day? It's like, what do you think?
Comfortable footwear, people. It's what I've been saying the last
and
2
I
years.
thought that too, because you thought that they always are happy to find something useful.
Yes.
Like ammo or weapons or something.
He's like, slippers.
That was awesome. Or don't forget the hot, passionate sex between Andrea and the governor.
Ew. That was just yucky. Except I have to give props to what's the name of the actress who plays Andrea?
Laurie Holden.
Whew, nice gams.
I know. She showed some major thigh.
And almost butt.
Wow. Looked good from my point of view.
Yep. She's a hottie.
That leads me into my number 3, which is Andrea and the governor.
Andrea's butt.
Andrew's butt. David? No, just kidding.
Are we sure that it wasn't a stunt butt?
No, we're not sure at all.
You saw her face, but they do use CG on this show. I liked that she ended up actually secretly liking the arena fights and that she got with the governor and that she just has this obvious strain of, being attracted to danger. That's how she is. Yeah. And I don't necessarily like her as a person, and I don't identify her at all with the comic book character anymore, but she feels like a real person, and I'm glad they're staying consistent with her character. And it's cool to have her on the show. And I doubt, I wonder a little bit whether she keeps sort of rationalizing everything she learns about the governor to be okay, but I wonder if when she finds out the full truth, will he have sucked her so deep into his web that she'll still go with him? I don't think so, but that would be an interesting possibility.
Yeah, who she's going to ultimately side with. Is she? I mean, there is going to be a war between the prison and Woodbury, and which side is she going to be on now that she's done the nasty with the governor?
There was some gangster show one time with Jennifer Tilly, and she was this kind of bubbly, sexy, naive girl, and she had this really geeky husband, and this like brutal gangster dude came in and kidnapped them and ended up getting with her, and the husband was in the bathroom while the Jennifer Tilly and the guy were having sex in the other room, and the husband hanged himself in the bathroom while this was going on.
Was it The Getaway? Was that the remake of The Getaway, which was originally Steve McQueen and Ali McGraw or something?
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, that scene, it's got me like, no, the poor guy. But, this sort of reminds me of that. One other thing I noticed, Andrea, when she comes into the governor's office and knocks on the door, I think, before that, he's sitting there with his notebook and he's just making those little hash marks.
He sure is. With a magnifying glass, by the way.
Well, when you looked up, you see that the magnifying glass is in front of him, not between him and the paper.
Oh, so, you don't think he was using it to...
I don't know. I thought that at first, but then the different angle. The governor was talking about the arena fights, and he said, most people don't have what it takes to see the whole story, being able to live with it, to use it. That's why there's a lot more of them than of us. So I think I don't really understand that. It's sort of vague, but it seems to point to that he's rationalizing that everything he's doing is the way that you need to behave in this world. And yeah, so that's why I wonder if he'll be able to bring Andrea fully over to that way of thinking. And then one more thing, I thought Andrea was really smooth. Like she said, I'm not planning on dying. And he said, neither am I. It just happens. And she goes, other things happen. That's when you cue that porn music.
Oh, Andrea, no. He's a psycho.
She's good. Okay, next.
My number 2 is just the governor himself. And I know he's supposed to be bad and creepy and all this, but I think he's a great actor. I love that guy. A compelling villain, which every show needs. Like through a lot of this show, the villains have either been the zombies themselves, or they've been characters like Shane, where they're part of the group, and they've done some good things, they've done some bad things, whatever. But I mean, this is a straight across the line villain, and this guy's great at it. And plus, he was wearing a bathrobe, and I think that's the first time we've seen a bathrobe in Walking Dead.
They should get him with Oscar. They can trade off.
Yeah, and he does a very credible accent, but since he is English, and I thought the bathrobe was almost like sort of towards a dressing gown. It gave it a little touch of class.
And they've got the tea.
Yeah. Yeah, and the whiskey.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of classy.
Very classy guy.
Right.
Yeah, the zombie
heads in the aquarium. It adds a little something. Okay, my number 2 is the whole sequence of the phone calls. So I haven't read the comic up to this point, so I really didn't know what was going on last week when the phone rang. Full disclosure.
You thought it was Carol.
I did.
That's what you said, yeah.
I did. Full disclosure, I mean, I actually thought he was hearing it, and I thought when he said hello, there would be a voice, and it would be somebody not in his head.
Right.
Full disclosure, I was slightly spoiled a little bit because I have to go on our Facebook page, and somebody said what it was on our Facebook page. Yeah. No, it's all right. I think they even prefaced it by saying spoiler, but
you read it anyway.
I read it anyway. So this is what I get. But I didn't really know. I think the person said it was going to be Lori, but I didn't quite understand what that meant exactly. But I loved the whole buildup of it. I love how even though I sort of knew what was coming, I love that they built it up, and it kind of got the connection got worse and worse and worse. At first, the connection's pretty loud and clear, and then it gets really, really bad until it's almost unintelligible at the very end.
And there's even among the static, there's some like zombie noises in there.
Oh yeah,
it's like a bad
I
connection.
forgot how. I mean, at the beginning of this, when you played that last little phone call, it's creepy.
Yeah.
Like really, really creepy. And
really creepy.
And I just love how I think the writers are completely on their game with this. I especially loved that Herschel came, and I know, I don't know, but I think that Herschel picked up the phone, and I think he probably heard nothing.
Yeah. In an interview with Kirkman, he said they're going to address whether he did or not later.
Interesting.
So that'll be, yeah.
I'm thinking that he heard, okay, so my guess is he heard nothing. And,
Me too.
And that he didn't tell Rick that because he didn't want to upset Rick. He's thinking Rick is going through his own thing and he's got to go through it. And nobody can yank him out of it at this point. He's just got to get himself out of it. And he did. There's a little piece of Rick that knows that when that the calls are all in his head and that he's got to kind of ride this out on his own. And I love there's the very last one where it's Laurie, there's this camera trick of
it's a Raimi-esque.
Yeah, it really is. I think it's a Hitchcock thing originally, where I think David accurately described what was happening. The dolly pushes in while the camera lens pans back. Is that right, David?
It's either that or
vice
versa.
Yeah, exactly. And
so physical move towards while the zoom is out, or a zoom in.
But it's
physical out.
It's a freaky effect, and it was just wonderful. So I just love that.
Oh, my whole world is shifting right now.
Yeah, exactly.
The effect that it has. Yeah.
Exactly. So I just love that.
I kind of hope for plausibility purposes that he did hear nothing on the phone, because a working phone system at this point would be implausible.
Have you read the comic up to here?
I read the comic up to about the point where this season started, or an episode or two into it, but I stopped on purpose.
Okay, so
I know you've read ahead.
Did you know about this phone thing?
I did not.
And so as it was going on, did you suspect that he was nuts at all?
Yes.
You did. Okay. I was wondering, because I don't have a clear perspective on that.
Yeah. The first thing I thought was the fact that somebody could be calling from outside the prison is not believable at this time.
Did you think maybe it was a possibility that they were?
I didn't really think about it too much at the end of the previous episode when the phone just rang. I was like, the phone rang. But during this episode when he was actually talking to somebody, I was pretty suspicious.
I thought it had a great Twilight Zone-y kind of feel to it. The whole phone segment of this episode, and it worked really well. And I loved it because they could have just had him go, "Oh, my wife just died," and be angry or sad or something, and dwell on it. But this was a great way to deal with the aftermath, an interesting way,
Yeah, exactly.
I thought I wondered, the second time I watched it, I'm like, okay, what is he getting out of this? And the voices are telling him to talk about what happened with Laurie. And then when he talks to Laurie, he tells her that he loved her and he wished he could have said that to her before. So I think it was kind of a catharsis to get him to let go of that, I guess, and have closure around it. And then right after he tells her that, he goes out and, for the first time, gets his baby. Yeah. So I guess they're saying it kind of allowed him to do that. Although I'm not convinced that he won't still have a little crazy going on later on.
Probably will. Yeah, I'm thinking he will.
I love the sound effects of the phone. Even in the beginning, it was still kind of moody before it got so overtly creepy, the way they did the static and everything, and the people's voices were kind of cutting in and out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then you listen again after you know what happened, and it actually is all those actors. It's Emma Bell and, the woman who played Jackie, and Andrew Rothenberg who played Jim. Emma Bell tweeted, "Glad to have been back in the Walking Dead family, if only in voice," the next day.
And Sarah Wayne Callies, was she back doing Laurie?
Yeah, yeah.
That's great.
And Kirkman had said last week, I read from an interview piece that, Sarah Wayne Callies may find a way to be back on the show, not in a flashback, and he was really vague, and I was like, I know what it is. But what was weird is, I played at the beginning of our podcast here, she said something like, Can you do that for me? But it was unintelligible. I wonder if they're going to address what that is. I think she wants him to kill Andrea, but I'm not sure. No, I'm just kidding. Can you please kill everyone? So anyway, that was my actually number one, but I'll just have it be my number two. So
my number one, and then we're all on the same theme at this point, but is the parallels between Rick and Philip, a.k.a. the governor, and their descent into madness. and the various ways they're dealing with it, which I think was an inevitable consequence of this world after a certain point. And I'm glad that they're finally really exploring this in depth. You can't go through what these people are going through and keep all your marbles.
Yeah, I wonder if people who've been in like serious and long war situations are identifying at all.
Yeah,
with
that long traumatic stress situation. But so you have the governor who's doing all manner of wacky things, and the little hash marks in the book are kind of reminiscent of The Shining, where Jack
all work and no play.
Yes, but and Rick with his hallucinations, I think he's definitely bringing some crazy out with him. I don't think you're coming back from where he's been, but completely.
Right.
But so two people in this crazy situation of a world, and one, the governor has dealt with it by pretty much